Yeah. Y'all watching the Ethiks mixtape show, and I'm your host, Victory, BX Supreme Promoter, basically. You know what I mean? I'm Shane, basically. That's right. Thank you for watching another episode of the Grind Ethics Mixtape Show. This is the special segment of Grind Ethics called the Mixtape Files. Yes, this is a new episode of the special segment of Grind Ethics, the Mixtape Files. And I'm here with a DJ, a New York DJ that I've been knowing for like 20 years. My brother DJ Palavity. He's gonna basically, what I'm saying, talk to you about his career as a New York mixtape DJ and also about his experience in being a supporter of the general New York mixtape scene. You know what I mean? Peace to the God. What's going on, man?
Peace. Everything is everything, GLB. We here. I
Yeah.
appreciate you for, everything over the years, straight up, just on the strength. We got our personal history as brothers where, since we connected back in the early 2Gs, we've been all over the place with it. And then with the mixtape history in general for, the circuit here in New York City within the underground and so on is taking different turns, but we was there for everything from like the 60-minute tapes going into the CDs. You already know the vibes, man. So that's what we here to build on.
Exactly.
To the whole Grind Ethics Network. Y'all know the vibes. Everybody that's been chiming in since day one, pre-global currency and all that. You already know.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, and just to let you know, no, to let the audience know, we're gonna honor my brother Palavity, DJ Palavity, because he is a mixtape, New York DJ. You know what I'm saying? So brother, we're gonna give you your flowers. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Thank you for adding on to the mixtape culture. You know what I mean? Actually, instead of flowers, we're gonna give you a marijuana plants. And drink champs, they give flowers. We give I give marijuana plants.
It's all love, though, GOD. It's all love.
It's all love, man. So
yeah, man. Since we are covering mixing history.
Well, tell us the first time you started DJing. Hold up. This is your interview first. First, we're gonna talk about the first time you started DJing. Let's talk about that first.
All right. I definitely made the executive decision around like 94, 95. For those that may not know. Like every other, I guess, aspiring DJ, being that I come from the vinyl era, I started off as a crate boy. I was helping out my cousins, known as the Young Soul Sound System. The Young Soul Sound System, it started off like back in like the early mid-90s. My cousins, Ronnie Bob, the Driver Pro, peace be upon him, made me remember the perfection. They were like all through my hood, to be honest with you. It was doing like all the functions that we know as far as just being in the hood, whether it was like the block party, the house party, was doing red parties in the crib. They were doing jams in the center. But a lot of work got put in for them, and then they progressed to Albany. We had we had the pre-game build before we went live as far as Albany. There's mentioned something in particular about that. Nevertheless, with Albany, they built this base. The following got bigger. everyone in the county was rocking with them. There wasn't a spot that they didn't play at where the spot they was in didn't get full capacity before midnight. I've seen them work after midnight. 1 or 2 times they only get on the set, but that's another story. It was just every time I was around them and seeing what they created in Albany was something special. So their history was part of what my beginnings were. Then from there, I graduated into like actual mixtapes, and I mean, this is when we dealing with things on a physical note. We had cassettes, so I was starting to do that like around the year 2000, 2001. This was my beginning. This was me just as a soloist, for lack of a better term, where all of a sudden I was just building up like what my collection was as far as me getting records from any record store I could find to eventually getting to figure out like what runs were, where I was going out to different like promotional offices and what have you. Some of it was in the city, some of it was uptown. Shout out to my man General for it's done promotions and marketing. He's part of my personal history where I was getting put on to what was going to be the next big hit on Wax. I was making those runs on Friday afternoons where that's also how I met up with the good brother North from Division X. He and I, we was going towards, I think, Cornerstone, somewhere in Midtown, maybe like Flatiron District, depending on where the location was. I think it was between...
It's 23rd Street.
It was East 23rd, word. Yeah, and it was just a thing like one day, I was on my way there, or I saw him, and it was, no, actually this was right after I met North, actually at Madam X. I was spinning a set on a Friday night. He gave me a Division X single. He gave me two copies. He gave me those. And the joint I played was called Hip Hop Style, if I'm not mistaken. That was like B-side. Like I was rocking with it because at the moment when I played it, it sounded like something that needed to be heard. And that was part of me learning how to break records. He didn't ask me for any money to play it. I didn't ask him for any money to play it. Meanwhile, it was just like, that was how I was able to create a lane for myself in regards to being active in creating mixtapes, because I knew somehow, some way around that era, it was more about it was still about those DJ Prime directors, as I refer them to, where I have to break in new music, or at least I have to be able to play the records that not every other DJ plays. So it might have been what was known as trip hop in between, like if I decided to make an improv mix while playing a little bit of everything, great speeds. That sound coming out of like the UK, I considered it more just down tempo.
You talking about grime music? Jungle music?
Nah.
You talking about grime music? You said that.
No. This is way before grime. I'm just talking about like the production that was behind some of the stuff that's in that down tempo / trip hop column. You got groups like Portishead,
Massive Attack.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you got like Uncle.
Yeah.
And then this was like a precursor for me. Like then I started getting into the drum and bass, where it's just like I hear elements in it where it's part dancehall, part hip hop. Yet some of my mixtapes that I did were just improv, where I liked adding all that stuff. I would just do those types of rarities in one mix. Some of those I might still have in the vault. It's possible, and I gotta give a shout out to one particular individual, a good friend of mine, somebody I consider a brother, my man, Mr. Todd Woody, aka Top from the Bush. He is somebody that So he kind of heard what I was getting at, and he just kind of posed the idea to me one day. It was like, yo, why don't you make a mixtape website? And then it was just like, it's something I still ponder and I still consider to this day. Because I know there's certain mixes, like I've never put them out. They're on cassette, some of them are on CD. Yet for the people that just like hearing a little bit of everything, for the music lover that enjoys a journey within a mix, that's something else. That to me, that's what I still do it for to this day. And with all the different media that's going through the progression of the digital age, where it's still being backed by a DJ behind the turntables, it'll never really die as far as an actual like vehicle of music. With the mixtape, a lot of people may just figure it's either gotta be one particular style or it's gotta be like one specific genre. Sometimes certain mixtapes are created because they're not planned. They're not planned in the sense like it's built off a playlist. Like DJ will just dig and dig and dig and dig, and then next thing you know, this DJ just comes up with like over an hour's worth of time, over 60 minutes worth of time where you get almost pushed and pulled in certain directions, but in a good way where your mind takes that trip. It's not just physical anything. Like sound takes over as far as a certain dimension of which like energy is being put out in front of you. Sound itself it could be just bass lines, a drum break, the intro to something where it's like all you hear is this melody and you're like, oh, what is that?
Yeah.
It's just meant to get you open. Like even if like you've seen some, you burn one down, got a good blunt, whatever, or you might even just be waking up at the moment. You might have that long night, or it might be one day and then you just come across a tape you probably haven't played in a while. You've never played it all, but you just see it in front of your face and then you just throw it on, rock with it. And then next thing you know, you're in that zone.
Exactly.
Nothing else really matters in the world except for what's going on in that mix, and like a big picture just gets painted right in front of your eyes. It's just that sound is just taking over, and the energy just hits different. Where the picture that's being painted is within your own mind. Like you'll kind of like visualize what you want with it. So that was part of my goals as I continued to make tapes. Like through time, it was just some of it was let me deal with this concept. Like I want to just do some rare cool stuff. And then there's times where it's just like, I don't know, for the generations behind us in regards to hip hop, I decided like let me put them on without having to just go about just being on some I'm just gonna go back. I'm just gonna go back in the day. It was more about having that range in which different sounds of production were getting displayed, where like different scenarios on how like an MC would rap. You get that all in one mix.
Mm-hmm.
So my perfect example for that is a mix I put out around 05 called Not for Toys.
Not for Toys?
That mix, yeah, my man Ty helped me out with that.
Was it physical or was it online?
It was physical first.
Okay.
As I can recall, you might be able to find it on the web.
I think you gave it to me one time. I'm not sure. Yeah, you gave me a couple of your mixtapes.
I think definitely when I first dropped it, when I first put it together, I probably definitely gave you a copy for sure. And also I got he helped me out with that as well. Like the finished product of that mix, he helped me out with that as well. Shout out to the founding father of the X-Men, aka the cut technician, DJ Steve D. And my man Wise, like, he got after me, like, where I was getting at. So he and I, we were involved with another mixtape called, oh man, I want to say it's called Back to the Essence. My man D Spliff out of Harlem, he mixed that joint. He and I were doing like different cuts on the intro. We were rocking to the Definition beat from Black Star.
Okay.
My man Wise, he did a verse on that for the intro. So I remember specifically, I think the last line was praising the Lord for D Spliff the Great. And then we take it back to the year 88. You suckers. Yeah, he did a quick reference to, of course, KRS on My Philosophy. And things like that is what kept me just wanting to be rooted in the underground as far as just doing something a little bit more just, I guess people would say it's more left than just a standard mixtape. That's what it was. My early tapes, like before I started just like literally getting consistently just CD based or what have you. I just put stuff out on CD just on a regular basis. The thing was I was just using either tape recorders, I was using mini disc. When I got to learning how to use mini disc, that changed the game for me because I think that's how I learned another style of editing. It also kept me on my toes as far as just being able to just record, like being able to just do it in a take where I have the right amount of joints, but I know how to put each record together. Like certain stuff I'll cut, then I'll mix here and there, I'll catch a blend, then I might cut it up going back and forth a little bit. I might add a scratch solo at one point, maybe. But some of that came from like certain DJs I was hearing. I was putting out mixtapes and fat beats, like definitely like during the late '90s era, like every now and then. Even just when I was at the store, certain DJs I would just hear, like they would just be playing this